Hey YouTube, what's up? Good morning, good Friday morning. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. Shout out to all the YouTubers. All respect to the whole YouTube world and community. Yeah. So quick story. I'll try to make it quick anyway, because you know me. This is the general chat channel, and I can kind of go all over the place, but I'll try to stay focused, yeah. So I used to go down to, well, I used to be in New York back in the day doing stand up. I'm not going to drop too many names. I'm not going to reveal too much because it's kind of it's in the past, but you know, I still reflect on that whole time and where I could have had opportunity, where I dropped the ball, or where I, made mistakes, or, being naive. So this was the time when Mike Epps and Tracy Morgan and Dougie Doug and uh, down in Harlem, when everybody was like first coming up, you know. Tracy Morgan, respect to him and his success, and Mike, I love seeing those guys. Mike Epps, I'll tell you, he is. I can see him till today. He's the same down to earth brother. I'm gonna tell you. I can't say that for everybody else, for sure. Uh, Tracy Morgan, I'm not shitting on him or nothing like that. Respect to him, excuse my language, but he did turn into an asshole at a point, and it was too bad he went through that accident. It was him and Jimmy Mack in there. James McNair used to be his right hand man at a point, but he passed away in the accident. Respect to him and his family. Um, Even JB Smooth, I remember JB Smooth. To give me a ride back to uh, Stamford, Connecticut. All right, back then. All right, so I said all that to say that Flex Alexander, right? I remember Flex being there. I said, "Oh man, And again, me being naive, thinking that people were friendly, because I was friendly. I didn't think people were. I wasn't never a mean spirited person ever like that. But people were. People were hateful. People were jealous. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And I just didn't know anything about it. I didn't know. I walked in there like a lamb in a meat factory. I did not know. So the Brown brothers, in Harlem, I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to like name drop too much, but I just want to tell the story. So there was a point where Uptown Comedy Club, I was going in there, I was, working out. I had the ambition and the skill, but it just didn't really jump off because it was too. I didn't realize all the politics behind the game. I didn't know. So me just getting up there doing comedy, and trying to work out my material was a nightmare. Oh my God. It was a fucking nightmare, man. Uh, there was a lot of guys that I admired, you know what I mean? But they were assholes, bro. All right, so Flex Alexander, uh, he was doing his thing, and I was like, hey, Flex, man, and then he was like, hey, man, leave me alone, bro. I ain't got time to be talking to nobody. And so I said, all right, cool. I left it alone. So he goes out to Hollywood, and I see her, yeah, man. I mean, I didn't take nothing personal. I didn't. I let people be who they are. I didn't take it personal. Maybe I was bothering them. I don't know. Again, I'm just being a regular guy, happy guy, just meeting people and talking to people. But I don't know them, so I don't know how people really are. I'm just, again, being naive, didn't know the politics. All right, so that's real. It's not really. I'm not like name dropping and shitting on anybody. All right, because I got respect for everybody. It's all good. But I'm getting to a point here. All right, so he goes out to Hollywood, and he's doing his thing, and probably he pissed somebody off, right? Because long story short, he ended up, not working for the networks anymore. And, him and his beautiful wife, Shanice, shout out to him and his family. Again, I'm not saying anything disrespectful. I'm just getting to a point here about the YouTube video that I'm doing right now. So he probably pissed someone off, and they blackballed him and shut him down. And I was just watching the thing the other night about Hollywood rituals and stuff, and I was just kind of reflecting. I'm getting back to the point, but I was reflecting on how me doing stand up, and it didn't go a certain way. Maybe I was being protected from all of that. Maybe I was being protected from all that, So Flex Alexander, him and his family, and then, he struggles, and then, instead of, it's hard to go from, TV star to working in a grocery store. Your ego, it's it's damn near impossible to do. I get it, because even me just going down there, rubbing elbows with them, I didn't think I was better than anybody, but I thought I was going in that direction, which I was. But again, I didn't understand the politics, so I didn't really know how to play the game correctly. I used to go down to Boston Comedy Club, where Talent and Will and a lot of the local comedians, Capone, that's another jerk. I'm not I ain't saying nothing I wouldn't say to their face, you know what I mean? But Talent was all right, but he was a jerk too. These guys were fucking assholes. Excuse my language, YouTube. Chill. I'm just trying to make a point. Capone, the gangster comedy. I remember he used to come out with chicks, and I'd never been a prop guy. I used to always have these discussions about bringing out props, having props as a comedian, because I thought it was just, your wit, your personality, and the microphone, and your body language. That was the game. But, when you come out, with some strippers, and, you come out with a box like Carrot Top, and, you're pulling out clowns on a stick with the thing that used to, squeaky up and down on. To me, that wasn't comedy. Comedy was like the old school 1, 2, 3, setup. Premise, the setup, the premise, and the punchline. Or the premise, the setup, and punchline. Right? So somebody like Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock. Those are the guys from the old school. Everybody else has passed away. Jerry Seinfeld is another one. He's one of my favorites. People sleep on him. He is a great comedian, Jerry Seinfeld. All right? I don't care who don't like him. That guy is amazing. All right? Louis C.K., him too. I mean, he had his time, his scandal. All the old school guys, man, those guys are the great comedians. Chris Rock, Dave Chappelle. I remember I was walking down to a pizza shop, right? I went out of the Boston Comedy Club and I was walking. Dave Chappelle, I get halfway down the block. Well, it's like 3 blocks away. Well, I get halfway to the pizza shop. Dave Chappelle's just standing there smoking a cigarette. Now, he may not remember this because this was way back in the early 90s. He may not remember it, but I know comedians' memory is good. He might say, I do remember you, man, because I can see them today. And if I've seen them before, they remember. All except Godfrey. I ran into Godfrey about a year ago. And he was like, oh, man, I don't remember you. I said, yeah, you're stupid, man. And I run into other guys that go, yo, what's up? I ain't see you still doing comedy. I go, yeah, no. I still write. I do open mics, but I'm not where you guys are. You guys are 25 years ahead, 25 years down the road in front of me, man. It's all good. But back to Flex Alexander, man. So they blackball him, and you realize the real power of Hollywood and that whole executive community, And I'm thinking that that whole Hollywood scene was founded upon, again, this is not a religious channel, but I think it was founded upon witchcraft and stuff like that. And there's a lot of people who practice that stuff because they're looking for an edge to control. So they try to use the arts to manipulate energy against you. The energy is a real thing, to be used and manipulated. But it's really a forbidden thing to touch, When you're manifesting something, it's supposed to just be from you for you, Excuse me. You're not supposed to be like, putting stuff in people's food or, women are good for that too, certain women, they'll, cook for you and put stuff in your food. And I know women are listening to this channel. I'm not, ladies, don't get mad at me, I'm just a man experiencing what's happening. I didn't make it up. It's happening. It's true. So everybody be careful. There's guys who do stuff against women, so it's not one way. It goes both ways. All right, so what was really my point that I was getting to? So I was really thinking about me and how maybe I was protected. Flex on how they blackballed him, and the power is not where you think it is. It's not in your hands when you're working with those people. Because again, even me coming into those comedy clubs, and they wanted to write for me for this particular show, I left that out. And I dropped the ball because I was like, yeah, man, I write my own material. That's cool, And I could have been on the show. I could have been on the TV show. But I didn't understand how nobody sat me down and explained to me how it really worked. And man, I dropped a big opportunity. You know, I reflect on it. I'm not bitter or nothing. I just think about, you know, where I've screwed up in certain areas in life, and you know, it's all hindsight 2020, if you will. So I'm not saying Flex deserved any of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? I just know that the politics is my point of that entertainment game. It's treacherous, you know. And he's not the only one that went through that. There's a lot of celebrities that ended up like homeless out there in Hollywood. That's like crazy. And then there was like nobody there to help them. And I mean terribly homeless, like to the point of like, you know, sleeping on a you know, a funky comforter in the street, you know? That's terrible. But you know, I think drugs has a lot to do with it. I don't do any drugs. And I just stopped drinking alcohol. Yeah, I cut that out because you know, those hangovers. Now I'm not an old guy. I'm still a young man, but my body just does not process alcohol like it used to. I used to go out, drink all night, and wake up and go to work or whatever. But now, you could forget that. A couple of beers, I'm waking up feeling like crap because I work out. You know, I'm a health guy now, so I can't contradict my nutritional habits. I can't contradict it, but you know, because I was like, oh, I work out. I can go sit there and have an old fashioned with Maker's Mark and think it's okay. And a little wine is probably fine, you know what I mean? But like to go sit and have, you know, two old fashions and you know, a couple of shots, and that's no good. That's no good. That's just straight poison. All right, so back to the point of Hollywood, Flex. Uh, Back in the day, again, I was just kind of reflecting on that whole time, and Tracy Morgan, man, he was a bully. He was a bully, you know. He didn't bother me like that. I didn't really talk to him like that. But he was there. He was around, you know. I can remember we were all walking. It was me, this other guy I know. I'm not gonna mention his name. Other guy, comedian, and a few unknowns, you know. And this was just like a year, 2 years before Def Comedy Jam really hit, right? And we were walking to the Apollo from from Fifth Ave on 125th, walking up the block. And Tracy Morgan was like saying, well, all of you guys who trying to do comedy, you know, this might not be your time right now. This might not be your time. It's my time right now. And we was like, yeah, nigga, whatever. Like, shut the fuck up and keep walking. Like, what's all this bullshit? But we all didn't know how this whole shit was about to light up. I didn't know anything about Russell Simmons and who Tina Graham and who was behind all this thing. You know, Rudy Rush, man, that was my guy too. You know, I used to like watching him. I think he's a radio host out in I don't know where guys are now. You know. But yeah, so the politics was crazy back then. You know, so if I mean, when you see Dave Chappelle, you salute. When you see Chris Rock, now I'm not talking about Kevin Hart. because Kevin Hart wasn't on that scene. He came up a whole nother avenue, But shout out to him. I don't know him, but he was. He did it. He's successful. Him with all his films. I don't know what channels he's gone through to afford the luxury of all of that work, which is great. I don't know. They say about the dress thing and whatever, but that has always been a comedy staple. A man in a dress, always. White dudes did it. All the greats did it. It's just Hollywood's ran by, a certain type of community, and that they wanted to see that. It's not that they were necessarily trying to make you that way, but that was just part of the humor. It was a staple of, a man in a dress. A man in a dress. That was just a staple of comedy. It was. It wasn't about necessarily intentionally demasculating, but I think maybe it was a agenda long term with that community, because there's a credo that they wrote. Okay? So I'm not aware if that was part of it. Probably was from the beginning. But that's that kind of thing where it's that kind of thing where you start a job and you don't really know what's going on, but they got the heads up on you. And the first guy that comes to you and starts telling you shit is the very guy you should stay away from. But you don't know that. So I know black men have had it a hard time in certain industries, and all the demasculation of us going on. I'm gonna hold on. I'm a man. I'm gonna hold on to that. I love women, although I'm very picky these days. Again, this is general chat. See, I done went all over the place, but I'm still on the point of how politics and the entertainment business, if you don't know how to play that game, it'll screw you, literally. Sean Combs, look what he did. He set the traps up just in case he was indicted. Now, I don't know if it's going to work for him, because there's other things behind the scenes that he has to deal with that doesn't have to do with anybody that was at his parties. Because a party is a party. You can't incriminate me because I went to a party. I didn't do anything. I went to the party. I didn't know you had murdered somebody, or you had a whole room full of drugs you were selling back there, or guns. I don't know nothing about that. I just went to the party, had some dip, had some conversation, had a couple of drinks, and I took my behind, literally took it home with me, And no, chill. I don't mean somebody. I know people can people just take anything you say and flip it. No. I didn't mean it like that. I'm just saying, and I've never been to a Diddy party, by the way, but I'm just trying to make a point about how if you're naive about it, you'll go any which way to get the fame. What's the chick? Jessica, what's her name? Light skinned, beautiful girl, not the video vixen, but the other chick who started doing porn. She was like, oh, you'll do anything for fame, and then look what she did. Like, she was doing it. But she was right. If you ain't careful, and if that's all you want, you will do anything for fame. But maybe Flex, back to him, he wasn't doing certain stuff. he wasn't playing the game a certain way. And again, he pissed off an executive somewhere, and they blackballed him. I don't know if they was trying to make him suck something or trying to, backdoor him, or I don't know what was going on. But I think I was protected from all of that because I would have been blackballed also, because I don't play that. I don't play those games. Now, I'm not saying that's why he was blackballed, but I don't know. But I do know something happened. It wasn't just, the network, we're going to just cancel the show. And because, the show he was on the UPN network. And that network doesn't even exist anymore. So maybe they were just phasing out stuff and they just decided, we're going to go in another direction. We're not going to work with a so-called Flex Alexander anymore. We're going to just throw his whole thing in the trash and leave it there and let him recognize that we run this. You don't run this, which is true. Hollywood has their own closed and close community. It's like a group that is like one hand and it's unseen. You could be being followed. I mean, there's all kinds of stories. Dude leaves home, you come back home, and you be like, "No, I didn't leave. I know I didn't leave that cup on the counter. Or I know I cut my TV off. I didn't leave that TV on. When I come back home, the TV's on, bathroom light is on, cabinet in the kitchen is open. I didn't do that." But then you're thinking, did I do that? Did I leave the TV on? Now your mind is going fucking crazy. Now you're second guessing, and that's where the insanity starts because they know that's how it works. You want to see a great movie? Watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right? With Brad Pitt and DiCaprio, right? Great movie. Great movie. That is a Quentin Tarantino film. Great movie. But the point of it is that, there's a lot of points to the movie, but a good part of it is that the part when he goes to see his old producer associate when they were making films and it was the ranch, and he goes back there and it's all hippies, and that was the part where Charlie Manson was running that whole thing, because Hollywood is full of devil. It's full of devil worship, Satanism. That whole Napa Valley. All of that. All of those Hollywood Hill area. It's all full of. Oh man, that I see some of those homes. There's a guy on YouTube who does the Hollywood homes. Man, that's so beautiful out there. I would say, shit, man, I would live out there anyway, and I would just be rebuking any kind of evil entities that come through. But the areas is fantastic. You could afford to live there. $11 million home, $60 million home, $5 million home. All kinds of levels. But again, don't walk around naive. Try to know what you're doing. Do your research. Keep your eyes open. And again, watch your back. Watch your back. Because you never know who's watching you. You never know who's hating on you, who has it out for you. Hell, watch the girl at Starbucks who's making your coffee. I do that. It's dangerous out here now. And I don't mean to sound paranoid, but it's just the truth. It's the truth, The girl, there's times when my food came to me and there's hair in my food. Where did that come from? Yeah, okay, it's a hair. But I don't know. Somebody could have just sneezed over your fucking plate and they still bring it out to you. You know. All right, so I'm going to cut it there because my headset just went out. But anyway, watch your back. All right, peace.